This boy and girl, she has an owie on her that I had to patch up. And so I need to paint them. And I know that I probably shouldn't paint them, but I don't have a choice since she does have an owie. And then they look like they could use an update. So thankfully, I have the new DIY Cottage Colors from Jamie Ray Vintage. This is Vintage Mint. This is a one-step paint. It does not need a sealer. And to me, it kind of looks like ceramic or glazed ceramic when it dries. So that's why I think this is a really good choice. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna paint these with the Cottage Color Vintage Mint. Now this is different than your typical DIY paint. It's a little bit thinner. It's a little bit stickier. You need to make sure that you let it dry in between because otherwise you're going to pull the paint off, and it needs more than one coat usually. I've been noticing anywhere from 3 to 4 coats is what you need to put on for some good coverage. Now, if you're gonna white wax these, then, or any kind of wax, then I would think that you wouldn't have to put as many coats on it. I am loving this new paint. I didn't know if I would like it, but it definitely is becoming a favorite. So look at that. Now I'm gonna go ahead and paint these in time-lapse motion so you can watch the whole progress. And if you need any cottage color paint, you can find it on my website at thepaintedphotographer.com. The cottage colors need like a second coat, sometimes 2.5, 3 coats, depending on what you're covering over the top. But I went ahead and I gave them a second coat, and then I put some white wax on them to soften them a bit. So with this being a one-step paint, it has a built-in sealer, so you can go right over top with that white wax and it will be able to manipulate around a little bit and just stay in those crevices and soften the paint. Sometimes you have those nasty labels on the bottom of something that you purchased and they just don't come off because they've been there for a long time. I take my heat gun and I heat that sticker up a little bit and then I'm able to peel it back. Sometimes if I can't peel it back, I will have to take a knife and gouge at it a little bit, but then I go in with the Goo Gone and it takes the sticky away. I am loving this new one-step paint, especially for these flower pots. I make sure that I clean them really well and get all the dirt and grime off of them. They were flower pots, so I want to make sure that they are totally clean, and I'm going in with a new fresh coat of the JRV paint. This is Haint Blue, and I'm going right over top of that glaze. And one thing about this one-step paint is it looks like glaze when it seals. This next pot I'm going to do in Vintage Mint, and a lot of people say that they can't tell the difference between the Haint Blue and the Vintage Mint. And when you see them in the cans, there isn't a whole lot of difference. But once you paint them on, when they dry a darker color, which is different than DIY paint. DIY paint dries lighter. This one dries darker and a beautiful color. One thing you do need to remember is when using this one-step paint to put your brush into water. I am going in with the Whispering Willow new IOD transfer. This is a favorite of mine. I'm going to try and put some transfers onto this pot. Again, with the one-step paint, no need to seal. And the transfers go right onto the paint as soon as it's dry. Just make sure you give it plenty of time to dry so that the transfers go on well. So I'm going to go ahead and put some of these transfers on this pot, and it's going to make it really cute.
I can't believe that you came into my life. You made me feel again. Now it's my turn. You say you've always been a little bit shy, but I can put an end to your fears. Let me show you a place where you gon' wanna move your feet until they start to bleed. DJ, take it away. Tonight is all for you and me. So baby, spin and let the music begin. I know you feel it within. So go ahead and just spin for me. Won't you spin? Don't let the doubt in you win. I know you feel it within. So go ahead and just spin for me. Won't you? I know it's hard for you to give it a try, but you are not alone. I'm here with you. I think you owe it to this beautiful night to lose all your control. Do it for you. Let me show you a place where you gon' wanna move your feet until they start to bleed. DJ, take it away. Tonight is all for you and me. So baby, spin and let the music begin. I know you feel it within. So go ahead and just spin for me. Won't you spin? Don't let the doubt in you win. I know you feel it within. So go ahead and just spin for me. Won't you? Don't be afraid. Just let go of your fears, 'cause you know you can do it, baby. Dance them away. Now you know how it feels. Now you know you can do it, baby. And let the music begin. I know you feel it within. So go ahead and just spin for me. Won't you spin? Don't let the doubt in you win. I know you feel it within. So go ahead and just spin for me. Won't you?
This planter was already good as is. I liked the color. It did have some white accents into the crevices, but I went ahead and I enhanced that just a little bit with this DIY white wax. I absolutely love white wax and how it looks and softens the paint jobs of any kind of paint. So this planter was already painted. I put the white wax on it, and then I went ahead and buffed it back so that the white just softens that and puts it into the crevices. A little bit more accent than it was when I purchased it. This bunny had, I'm guessing, a pair of sunglasses that were glued to him. So there's a little bit of, there's a hole in here, but there was some extra resin. So I heated it up with a heat gun, and my husband went ahead and kind of dug out some of that resin. So it was nice and soft and pliable. On the face, there was also some extra resin, so I just went ahead and heated that up and picked that little bit off, and that was came off with no issues. Now I'm going to go ahead and fill in those holes on the side of his head with a little bit of the IOD air dry clay and some wood glue. So I just fill that hole with some wood glue and drop a little bit of that air dry clay in there to fill up that space, and add a few lines, and he's as good as new. On one of my last videos, I painted my flower pots outside. So I went ahead with the same paint that I had on my flower pots, and I did just a single coat of the gray paint on this bunny and just gave him a fresh new look. So it has a little bit of salt wash in it, so it has some texture, not much because the bunny already had texture, but just giving him a new fresh coat of paint brightened him up. And then I went ahead after he dried and I put a white wash onto the bunny and made him look like concrete that had, just kind of faded and washed out with the rain and the sunshine. And just wanted him to be really soft and show all of those crevices that he had.
Just keep trying and I'll just keep saying I don't know about that, 'cause it's my lazy day, just wanna lazy away, ain't gonna do a thing for the rest of the day.
I gave him a coat of Big Top. He is a bunny that should be put outside. I have had a lot of luck with Big Top going outside. If you don't want to take that risk, you can put an exterior sealer on him, but I really have had no issues with putting Big Top outside. I'm going to use my DIY cottage color again. This one is vintage pink, and I'm going to paint these 2 wire baskets with this paint. And this is a long process, but it is worth it in the end. You could spray paint them, but I just really liked the look of the vintage mint and the vintage pink. So I painted 1 basket in each of those colors with just a small paintbrush. I am loving these colors, and I'm just painting everything I can get my hands on with them. So if you need any of these cottage colors, you can visit my website at thepaintedphotographer.com, and I will put the link below. That's it for my sweet little video on all my thrifted items. I hope you enjoyed this and you'll come back for my next thrift haul sale. And if you would like any of these products, check them out on thepatiophotographer.com. I sell my thrifted items along with DIY paint and IOD products. So thank you again for coming. I love all your comments. Please comment below and tell me which one is your favorite. Is it the bunny? He's pretty sweet. Until next time, happy painting.